the man who sparked a revolution without taking up arms. He managed to liberate his country solely by preaching civil disobedience. He became a symbol of peace and non-violence. Today, in our Hero's Journey episode, we will tell the inspiring story of Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi was born in 1869 in a small coastal town in what is now the state of Gujarat, India. His family belonged to the merchant caste, which was considered part of the middle class at the time. His father, Karam Chand Gandhi, was the chief administrator of the city, providing the family with a respectable status and a comfortable life. From a young age, Gandhi was influenced by the religious and ethical values of his mother, a devout practitioner of Jainism, a religion that preaches nonviolence and peace as fundamental principles. Despite his relatively privileged upbringing, Gandhi was a mediocre student in school, but from early on, he showed a strong interest in improving his life and being able to help his relatives. At the age of 18, he had the opportunity to study law in England, a decision that changed the course of his life. For this, he had to overcome his mother's objection, who feared he would lose his faith and values by exposing himself to Western culture. To alleviate his mother's concerns, Gandhi promised her that he would abstain from eating meat and participating in social activities that contradicted his religious beliefs. In London, Gandhi was exposed to new ideas and cultures, but maintained a simple and modest lifestyle focused on his studies. At the age of 22, he became a lawyer and returned to India with hopes of establishing a successful career. However, he found that he was too timid to be a successful lawyer in Indian courts, leading to a brief and discouraging career in India despite his extensive legal knowledge. This phase of his life before becoming a political activist was characterized by the search for a greater purpose and the desire to do more for society, although he did not yet know exactly how. This period represents the ordinary world in Gandhi's hero's journey, where he was a normal citizen not yet touched by the call to adventure that would define his global legacy. The call to adventure from Mahatma Gandhi came during his time in South Africa. The incident symbolizing his call to adventure occurred shortly after his arrival in the new country. Gandhi had gone there in 1893 to work on a legal case involving an Indian trading firm. Gandhi had bought a first-class ticket to travel by train from Durban to Pretoria. Despite having the appropriate ticket, a white passenger objected to his presence in the first class, which was predominantly reserved for whites due to the country's racial segregation policies. Gandhi refused to move to the third class and was expelled from the train at this station, something completely out of his reality as he was accustomed from an early age to frequent places with a higher status and interact with people of different social backgrounds or skin colors. After suffering the humiliation of being expelled from the train, he still spent a cold and uncomfortable night at the station, and it was this experience of injustice that confronted him with the brutal cruelty of racism and oppression. This event was a turning point for Gandhi, awakening in him the desire to fight against injustice and discrimination. This experience was the catalyst that made him deeply question the discriminatory laws and practices, not only against himself, but against all Indians and other minorities in South Africa. His initial protest reaction was to begin writing against laws that discriminated against Indians. Soon after, he began to develop and share the philosophy of Satyagraha as the most efficient form of non-violent resistance, which would define his approach to activism for the rest of his life. This call to adventure was not only an awakening for Gandhi, but also the beginning of a life dedicated to challenging and transforming unjust systems through peaceful and non-violent means, marking the first steps of his long journey to become a global leader in the fight for justice and equality. During his struggle for India's independence, Gandhi faced numerous challenges and oppositions, each serving as a crucial test in his heroic journey. His allies, including regional leaders and a multitude of followers, played an essential role in strengthening the struggle for autonomy in India and the freedom of his nation. These allies were crucial in bolstering the flag raised by Gandhi and demonstrated much respect and reverence for him, because they saw in him an inspiring and charismatic figure who knew how to lead the masses by his example. On the other hand, Gandhi also had to face powerful enemies. The British authorities, who implemented repressive and increasingly aggressive policies to inhibit popular protests. The scenes that were broadcast to various countries were precisely of unarmed men advancing in one direction and being cowardly attacked even though they showed no sign of danger or violence. These confrontations culminated in events like the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919. Where hundreds of Indians were killed by British troops during a peaceful protest, which ended up generating a global reaction from public opinion against English colonial rule and solidifying Gandhi's role as a transformational leader, capable of mobilizing millions in peaceful resistance against entrenched oppression. After 2 decades of intense struggle and activism, Gandhi gradually transformed into a more respected and experienced leader with a clear vision and tested methods of nonviolent resistance. In various cities of India, he was greeted as a hero by his compatriots, eager for a leadership that could guide them in the struggle for freedom against British rule. Gandhi and his followers achieved important triumphs, and their strategies of civil disobedience became increasingly effective, leading to iconic events like the Salt March in 1930 and the Quit India appeal in 1942. Which were crucial in mobilizing popular and international support for the Indian cause. The elixir that our hero shared with his people was not limited only to the liberation of India, but also spread as an inspiration to civil rights movements around the world. His legacy of nonviolent struggle influenced figures like Martin Luther King Jr. in the United States and Nelson Mandela in South Africa, showing that the power of nonviolence can effectively challenge oppressive and unjust systems. We've also done episodes on the trajectory of these two historical figures. Mahatma Gandhi's legacy is a powerful testimony to the transformative impact of a single person guided by principles of nonviolence and justice. His heroic journey culminated in India's independence in 1947, an event that not only marked the final victory against the British rule, but also solidified Gandhi as a global icon of peaceful resistance. His strategies and teachings transcended borders, inspiring civil rights and freedom movements around the world. Gandhi showed that even the most peaceful among us can face giants, and through persistence and the will to fight for a greater cause, it's possible to make a difference in the world. If you were inspired by Gandhi's story and how he turned challenges into a monumental victory for his country, don't forget to like this video. And to receive more stories of ordinary people who became real-life heroes, subscribe to our channel. Join us to discover the inspiring journeys that will come in the next episodes. The hero's journey ends here today, and until next time.